We are live. Bum, 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 bum. It's Sue Greenwald here with Awakened Stories, and I'm here today with the one and only, the real and original, John F. Kennedy Jr. Hey, John, how are you?
I am doing wonderful today now that I'm with you doing a
Awesome.
live on your show.
Awesome. Yay. Okay. So there's no topics yet. Now, are you going to set up Facebook Live?
Hey,
Or
I just turned it on. So
all
we
right.
are live on Facebook.
Awesome. So, as we always talk about, we're going to base our conversation on the book John wrote, Stolen Identity, and the second book about him, The Historian's Tale. Okay. And there's also a beautiful documentary done called The Quiet Journey.tv. Okay. Please read those, watch those, share them around. And the more eyes on them, the merrier, right? The more the merrier.
Oh, amen. And thank you so much for sharing. They're huge achievements. The
Yeah.
books you just showed, these books, they're
Huge.
the books that people get killed over. They're the story that, I mean, Mary Maxwell, beautiful, beautiful soul. And she was like, I gotta hurry up. They're gonna kill me. I gotta hurry up and get this truth out. They're gonna kill me. So that's what we dealt with while she was writing that book. Um, and she's right. But it's out now. There's nothing they can do to her now because it's out. But they're the story that they don't want you to know. It's just
Right.
like the JFK files that I'm exposing. Um, the Epstein, cult that I'm exposing all the way to the presidents of the United States on downward. It's a crime ring.
Right.
I lived it. I'm sharing what I've lived as the son of an assassinated president. So here we are. Check out the books. If you purchase the books, I make a couple bucks to pay my bills. And the more I share this story each and every day, um, it helps pay the bills. It really does. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you purchase a book, it helps me financially to keep going. And trust me, I got a lot more bills now that I'm going out with this, and there's no turning back for me. I
Right.
can't stop.
Right.
There's no turning back.
Right.
I- you
Well,
know.
you wouldn't turn back if you could. At this point, you're committed to getting this story out there 100%. And the people watching this video are as well. Most of us watching now already know who you are. We're supporting you and all that. Like we always watch your channel. It's the new people that we're excited about bringing in, telling the story to so that they understand it or they at least have a curiosity for knowing more, and then they can also share it to their sphere of
And
influence, as we'd say.
I get so many people say all you do is repeat yourself. Um, I have to. There's literally billions of people out there that do not know my story. Facebook, I had 45,000 followers on TikTok. They just removed my account.
Hmm.
But I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube and I'm getting, two, three, four, five, 600 new followers each and every day that don't know my story. So yeah, I got to repeat myself. There's people that,
Yeah.
you can't just say, "Hey, I'm John Kennedy Jr." because they'll
Right.
look at me and say, "You ain't John Kennedy Jr. We knew." Well,
Mhm.
I was the John Kennedy you knew all the way up to the age of 10. All the pictures of me until organized crime kidnapped me and replaced me with their own member to steal billions of dollars. That's how they work in our government.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Patriot Girl and Dana, Joshua. Um, love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. With your hair without the hat and all that, you look more like your dad than ever. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? It's so for those that don't know, is she telling the truth? First, like use your eyes, compare them, and we've got graphics out there, and you could go to his website, the real John F. Kennedy Jr.com to look at the photos, but you can see the resemblance, right?
well, I was raised by many, many different people, but usually when I would wear a ball cap or a cowboy hat in the house, grandma or whoever would always scold, "Get that hat off your head while you're in the house." And if you have a baseball cap at the dinner, you're in trouble.
Yep,
And
that's the way it used to be.
and a couple hours ago, when I knew me and you were going to be doing a video, I was watching a picture of Donald Trump in the Oval Office wearing a Make America Great hat again, a red
Yeah.
and white ball cap. And I was thinking, Grandma would have slapped the shit out of him.
Well, back then they didn't have cell phones. Now you go somewhere, everyone's on their phone at the table. You look around the restaurant or whatever, everyone is absorbed with their phone. They're not talking. People wear their hats. There's no manners anymore or consideration. It's just a different, mindset or generational thing, whatever it is. But you're right, right? But
Yeah.
my point was you can clearly see the resemblance, right?
No, well, thank you.
That's the first thing. And then again, if we take your childhood picture and compare it next to your current picture, we can see the resemblance, right? If you take the imposter John's picture and put it next to your childhood picture, you're like, I'm not seeing that. So that should be the first clue that something's a little off. And no, we didn't figure that out in the 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s. Who would have
Right.
ever thought this thing was possible? Ever, right? So I
Somebody just said, "Hey, David, keep." Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody just mentioned on Facebook, "Hey, David, keep it going. You got this."
yeah,
Thank you for the wonderful comment, but I do prefer John. My name is John Kennedy. That's the name my mother and father gave me. David Quigley is the name the government made up for me.
yeah,
So, yeah, I prefer John. But a lot of on the internet, Sue, you see, oh yeah, people doing all kind of research. Well, Donald Trump was related to Patton and this and that, and then you see the they'll show you a picture of John Kennedy, the world thought was the real one.
yeah,
He's Donald Trump's cousin. Well, it's all bullshit, people.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't believe it because it's what they did. They murder people, they kidnap people, they replace people. Once that replacement is done, all the bloodline bullshit is bullshit now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when you see a picture of John Kennedy, the whole world knew. Just remember, he had no Kennedy blood. It just threw all their news propaganda right out the fucking door. All the bloodlines. Donald Trump is not Donald Trump.
right,
I'm
right,
convinced of that. Donald Trump is not my cousin. Bobby Kennedy is not my cousin. If they are, they got a murder rap on them. If they are, they sold their family. They sold their soul to the devil, and they're no family of mine. They can go kick rocks. When I was raised in this tight organization. You kill for your family. At the top, you kill for your family. You do everything possible for your family and your loved ones to keep them safe. Donald Trump is not my cousin. Robert is not my cousin. With that said,
okay. And for those of us, like there's so many people that are very polarized by this. Just be open-minded, but look at out there. We're seeing one Trump physically looks shorter and smaller than the other Trump. Okay. There's one that's tall, there's one that's short, and there's many of them. There's like kind of like a lineup of them. But then one will say something this way, and the other one says the polar opposite. Like so we're bouncing back and forth. And now people, the Trump supporters are starting to get confused and they're getting disillusioned. So they're starting to see it. All right.
oh yeah, I'm seeing, and the numbers, they're lying with the numbers. It's like Fox News.
Yeah.
Um, when they show Donald Trump, they add the cheers in the background like he's getting cheered. That's not true and balanced media. That's supporting someone and trying to raise them up with the lies.
Yeah.
It's all propaganda. It's all just like the assassination attempt where he made world news the very next day about the ear. That earshot would have blew his fucking ear right off. I played with guns my whole life. I know weapons. Um, yeah, it wasn't just a nick. But anyway, it was staged. People die for their staged events so they can make world news. The Secret Service would have never allowed that happen. When I see people posting, "Yeah, go Donald Trump," you all really need to wake up that is a staged event just so you'll put that as your profile picture, just so the cabal that runs the country. Donald Trump is a puppet on a string. That's all.
Well, I know we've lost viewers because of this, that we're talking about Trump. They're like, how dare you say that about Trump? Just be open-minded and keep your eyes open. If you don't believe this piece, put this piece aside and go listen to the other parts of the story. Okay? And then you can circle back. Just look at what's going on out in the news. It's crazy.
I've had people over and over all week because I made a campaign to share about Trump. So many people have told me you cannot speak about Trump and keep your followers. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to. I can't. That's how I am. I cannot stop the truth.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep sharing it. And then you get people that say, I followed you, but I'm going to unfollow you because you're talking about Trump. Hey, I'm the real John Kennedy Jr. There's no changing that. I am what I am. I say fuck, shit, piss. I'm still John Kennedy Jr. just because I cuss. People are saying I can't be John Kennedy Jr. because I shake. They make excuses why I can't. Now I can't be John Kennedy Jr. because I'm telling the truth about Donald Trump and exposing him for the criminal that he is. I don't need you. But I've had comments and they've said, I'm going to unfollow you now because of you reposted this post. There's so many anti posts about Donald Trump out there in the Epstein files right now. I'm sharing them. I have no problem sharing them, but people are coming. You shared this post. I'm unfriending you. And
Yeah.
I said, okay. So I went to my friends list and I gained 300 friends just this morning. So what the hell is the loss of one Trumper when I gained 300 supporters?
Right.
And it's an endless cycle. For every one that disappears, God wakes up another 3, 4, 500. So we're on a mission. I'm not going to stop. People tell me don't talk about Donald Trump. I'm going to keep talking my story.
I'm kind of like that too, because if somebody tells me not to do something, I'm like, even if it's against my best interest, how dare you tell me what to do? I'm going to do it just to spite you. But in this case, we're seeing it out there. So let's talk about this Epstein file stuff, okay? So for what? How many years have we heard about Epstein? He's been in jail. He's been killed. Blah, 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 the list. All this other, how horrible he is and what they've done. And then 3 weeks ago, it's like, oh, sorry, no list. We made a mistake. What? Who here believes anything that they're telling us at this point? They can't make their mind up.
Yeah, it's all a big
Yeah.
it's all a big cult. It's all a big crime ring.
Yeah.
And Epstein was just part of it. You know, Epstein with the man that stole my identity.
Yeah.
A picture will tell you 1,000 words. So all you got to do is look and see who was around Epstein.
Yeah.
And you're talking Obama, you're talking Donald Trump, you're talking Hillary and Phil. It goes all down the line of who was with this man, but it's the same crime ring. Donald Trump, there's pictures of Donald Trump whispering in the ear of my body double, the man that stole my identity. But then you get people, say, you know, Donald Trump and Epstein. Donald Trump's whispering in Epstein's ear. Who's the boss? When you have a mob boss and you have a underboss, the boss is the one whispering in your ear, giving you the orders. So, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion because I don't have the proof or but Donald Trump was Epstein's boss. Donald Trump was filtering so much money into Epstein so he can do his deeds, so he can get all these children. Donald Trump had a minor working at Mar-a-Lago, and he came on. Donald Trump comes on that. Oh, Epstein stole her. How do you steal somebody, especially a minor girl? Donald Trump thought that minor girl was his property, but then he said Epstein stole that little girl. It all adds up to me that Donald Trump was the ringleader, and he's not the big ringleader, but our cabal puts these people in place, and they have to pay up. These people that are in the cabal, they have to pay up to the people in the background that are getting rich and making all these millions of dollars. It's a big club, and we ain't invited people. Their club is for a one world order. That one world order is to keep us in chains, to keep us slaves, to keep working day and night, not being able to have a home to live in because we can't pay the bills and there's nothing being done. I saw a post the other day about how the Republicans, I know it's been law for a long time, but they're renewing it that say homelessness is a crime. That's the Republic. That's Donald Trump. The Republic, saying homelessness is a crime to be homeless. Well, I, John Kennedy Jr., say it's a crime for our government to allow its people to be homeless. If we have homelessness in this country, it's because our government isn't doing their job and doing it right where we can pay our bills. It's that simple, And then you hear the tariffs, the tariffs, the tariffs. The tariffs are just like when minimum wage was $7 or $8, and all these kids were working at McDonald's, and they wanted to raise it up to $18 an hour. They wanted to add $10 on top of the minimum wage. So they did that. But what happened when they did that? Now you go through a McDonald's drive-through, and their dollar menu is a $10 menu. To pay for that $10, they're paying for the employee to stand around in there, and it cost the inflation rate. I walked through the grocery store the other day, and the items that I saw are going up still. They're still rising. There's the common ones that stay the same, like the milk. The eggs, though, fluctuate like crazy, but the milk usually stays around the same. But the other goods, like the coffee, the creamer, the sugar, the tea, yeah, they're adding, and the packaging keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the price,
Yeah.
But I'm an old fucker, When I was a kid, the candy bars were a quarter, and you'd get the king size candy bar. It was a regular size candy bar, and then they shrunk. Then they put out the king size candy bar, and then they had. I bought a regular candy bar yesterday for me and Robin, and that thing was so teeny tiny, and I paid over $1 for it, and it's just a little thing. It's like something that you give away at trick or treat on Halloween.
Yeah.
They're trying to fool us, but it's all the big corporations that are all in on it together that's doing it. Oh, maybe they won't notice that we charge them double for the same thing now, and it's twice as small.
Yep.
And thanks, Donald Trump, for your tariffs.
Well, okay. I have noticed that too. You buy it used to be bacon was sold by the pound, right? Now it's a half pound, but it's 8 slices for like $1 jillion. Okay.
Oh yeah,
And I
it,
don't
it
eat
went from 16 ounces, then it went to 12 ounces.
Yep.
And then, but if you pay $29.99, you can get the 2-pound pack.
Well, it's very true. Everything's skyrocketing. Utilities, gas, all living expenses are going up, up, up. The people are getting literally screwed. It's like they're upping the amps, upping the amps, upping the amps. People are getting frustrated. Really, it's hard.
Well,
People.
it's really simple for me to explain. It's criminal activity.
It
That's
is.
all it is. We have allowed criminals to run this country for us, and we think we have to have them in power. We think we need these criminals in power to look over us,
Yeah,
and all they're doing is screwing us. They really are.
that's right.
And they're screwing us hard.
Yep.
They got to keep that caviar flowing and the champagne flowing and the gas in their jet planes and their yachts,
Yeah.
While you go to the Circle K or you go to 7-Eleven and you see a dozen homeless people with their sleeping bag, and it's like they don't give a shit. I was watching a video on the drugs and what's doing to these people on the streets, and it's not good. It's not good. People are
No.
dying in the streets.
And we know that the government is often supplying their drugs and other stuff that accompany that. So they really want people, like they want to thin out the population, obviously, but they're supplying the drugs for the people. They want that market. They make money from it.
Oh yeah, they're all crime rings.
Yeah.
I don't care if you FBI, if you're Secret Service, CIA, you're
Yeah.
at least your bosses are criminals. The new hires and the people that you know are
Yeah.
just in on it. They might know it's not a big, huge crime ring, but it is.
Yeah.
It's all about money. It's all about power. It's all about being to cover shit up.
Yep.
And they cover a lot up from child trafficking. And you hear so much, oh, they're doing this and they're doing that. They're saving the children. When I was young, um, I was with Wayne, and one of the CIA guys said, "You gotta give up somebody to make it look real." You you know, if you're in bed with a dozen criminals and they're all working for you, and your job is to, you know, law and order, you got to pick one of your friends that are in this criminal activity and expose them. I was told that, and that's what they do. So, I was always learning on how organized crime works. And I don't know why, when I'm thinking, I see Donald Trump, and he's asked, "What about the Epstein files?" And it's backstabbing all his old buddies. Oh, you shouldn't be talking about Epstein. You should be talking about Bill Clinton. Or what about fucking Obama or Bill and Hillary? And they're the guilty ones. Bill Clinton was at the island 28 times. I didn't have the privilege. And if you listen to words, Donald Trump said he didn't have the privilege to go to the island. Was it a privilege to go to that island and molest little kids, boys and girls, and probably do satanic sacrifices and videotape people in power so you could blackmail them? Is that a privilege, people? He didn't have the privilege. If you listen to what words and people say, they expose themselves in broad daylight. They really do. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I've learned so much when I see, and I've always been one to listen to words, and that was kind of like my job. I could tell you what somebody said 10 years ago, and if something they said was important to that day, I could expose them for being a rat or part of the cabal placed to take the Kennedy family down. Words mean a lot. They really, really do. And then when you turn things around and you blame others, you change the subject. Remember when it was Hillary going to prison, Hillary in prison, Hillary in prison. That never fucking. It's all the same cabal. It's all the same crime ring.
And they're
I don't
all
know,
friends.
Sue.
They're all friends. They're all in that same club, that evil club. So, we don't want to spend the whole time talking about Trump. That's kind of a waste of our time. People are going to
Yeah,
see what they see as things
okay.
unfold, right? Right. So you witnessed um, trafficking way back when.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. And see, like most of us really didn't understand how big it was until recently. Like I had heard about it, I'm going to say 2010. We all saw those milk cartons way back when, right? We all saw that. But you think occasional runaway, this or that. You don't realize what's being done to them. And then once you do, and start looking around, you see how big trafficking is, how much money it brings in, how, of course, it's a secret network, and they've had that out there. It's not like it just popped up. It's an old network, and it keeps expanding, right? So
And
you see,
hundreds of thousands of children every year
yeah,
go missing.
yeah.
It,
So
it, it's huge. It is that big. But people have tried to expose things. I mean, like we're trying to expose it. They silence it. They own everything. The people that are behind it own it all.
yeah,
So I've always said we're little David, they're Goliath, and we're trying to get it out there.
yeah.
But yeah, even the ex FBI director Ted Gunderson, he was trying to share, and you know he ended up dying of stomach cancer. And I call it murder, but yeah, there's people out there that try to share about the children being kidnapped, and what I learned myself in all of this, me being the son of a president and me being molested as a child, you have the secret cabal, you have the people in the shadows, you have all these organizations. whether it's the Catholic Church, whether it's the Mormons, on and on and on. You have all the way down to these little clubs like the Boy Scouts and, you know, all these little clubs. Well, what are they doing to the children? Why are they molesting the children in the first place? It's not because they're just flat out perverts and they want a good time with a child. It's to teach that child, to get that child into your realm, into your world, and have control over that child. So you get the child, you molest them, you give them the panda eyes, and then you start teaching them, you do what we tell you to do. You don't tell. They build up little armies of cells of these children. Then they get older and you know, they're already programmed that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's programming into that child. So they're all part of this family, and it just keeps going and going. And then that little child that was molested is doing the molesting, you know, 30, 40 years down the road. It's an endless cycle.
Right.
But they're huge, but it's all a cult. It's all the cabal. It's all part of the family.
Yeah.
And they're running this country. They're running the world. They really
Yeah.
are.
Well, the good news is that people are becoming more and more aware of child trafficking or any trafficking. They're aware of it. And now we see news reports all the time, like, you know, they do a sting operation, they rescue so many children, blah, 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 blah. They catch the bad guys. The thing is, they're just really doing the tip of the iceberg. Like what they're doing is still good. Yay. And I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is they're really not going deep. Like this is a very prevalent problem. It's not just in the US, it's a worldwide network. And we know a lot of nasty things happen to these poor kids and other people that are kidnapped or even, you know, bred for torture and, you know, the pain and torture and their body.
And they switch children around to keep it confusing and every other thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is a great example, people. My wife took my child. My child was only a couple weeks old. She took that child back to the East Coast. When she arrived a week later, she had a totally different child in her arms. It wasn't the same child. There's a lot of that child trafficking, child switching going on. So what happened? I went to the FBI and I said, there's child trafficking going on. And here they told me, we don't want to hear it. And here I am, the real John Kennedy Jr., kidnapped, replaced. My father was the president. And I'm going to the people that you're supposed to go to for help. And they're telling me, and this is how they operate. They got it all figured out to
Right.
silence people that come to them. I think you need to go to the mental hospital.
They said that to you?
Yeah, they turn it around. Just like I heard there's a guy coming out saying that he is Elvis's son. And I guess there's a lot of proof that he actually is Elvis's son. And they had him doing things like wearing dresses and pretending he was a girl and that kind of thing. Maybe I met him when I was young. I could have under MK Ultra. I don't think he really knew what MK Ultra was, you know, when I brought it up to him. So maybe he needs to research that a little bit more. But yeah, and I forgot where I was going, Sue.
Well, you were you talked about when Lisa came back from going east, she
Oh
had a
yeah.
different child. You went to the FBI and you told them, and they said basically, "Get out of here," right?
Yeah, I was placed with the Quigleys. They were my handlers.
Yeah.
Um, probably for the CIA. But they were my handlers. You know, people would come from our government and pick me up there in the middle of the night usually and take me off to all these places. But Dorothy Quigley had this new baby that came back from the East Coast. And I was like, that's not the same baby that was left that came back. And she's like, get him out of here. Get him out of here. We yeah, we don't want him around sharing that, you know. Um, but I went to the FBI and they're like, go away. You're fucking crazy.
Wow.
But it's all a plan. You know, they have the plan because they're the ones that are involved in all this, all the way to the top of the FBI. You know, the three. you know, straight up, they're the ones that had my family and my loved ones killed. It
Yeah.
was also they could take over power of the Kennedy family.
Right. So you've told us several times that you've gone, I think we had talked about the FBI. You've gone to the FBI to report murders, crimes, whatever, or get help. I think physically you've walked in there 6 to 7 times that I counted that we talked about. But you've also called them, and not once have they ever taken the interest to ask questions, to follow up with what you're asking them for help. You know, like John's reporting a murder, okay? Don't you think they'd want to know about that?
Yeah,
Just,
no, they don't, because what I expose will expose them. It's that simple. I
yeah.
told one FBI agent, I said, look, you don't want to come with me? I said, just come with me. I said, I'll bring you a lawn chair and I'll bring a shovel. And I said, I'll dig up the body for you. And he's like, just go away.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And then you also told us with this baby. Okay, so the baby switched. Okay, the baby is switched. You notice it, you freak out. Then you're like, okay, I'm going to raise the baby. But you also told us a couple videos ago that you think the baby had been switched multiple times,
Yeah,
even past that point. So you don't really know whose baby it is that you're raising.
right.
Insane.
All I knew is it was a baby.
Yeah.
All I knew is that they stole him. They wanted to handle him, control him, and they really fucked up his head.
Yeah.
And he was a victim of MK Ultra. What they have him doing is I don't know. At the end, he was really confused, and he's dead now. And I blame the system for the loss of that kid. I mean, I call him a kid. He was 36 years old, but mentally he was just a child for what they did to him. And hopefully, I'll be in power someday, and we can bring a lot of this to light. There was several times where I was poisoned, or somebody gave me some food, and I was like, I want to analyze this for poison. I didn't have no money to analyze for poison to see who was trying to kill me and who wasn't, and all this. Um, I spent so much money just trying to stay alive and in hiding and on the down low. When you're trying to be Richard Kimball and being a fugitive, and staying under it's expensive.
Mhm.
I think I've shared my story more than once about checking into a motel room, but not to sleep there, just to keep an eye on who's going to show up there with guns to take you away, and many things like that. Um, yeah,
Oh, did
I mean,
you?
I drove to Redding, California, researching the death of my aunt Opal May Edwards, that told me something was suspicious, and I never saw her again. And I went to Redding, California, where she used to live, and I was driving around the block trying to remember where she lived. And I get back on the highway, and a guy on a motorbike pulls up next to me and says, "What the fuck do you want?" Crazy shit. It's organized crime, and it's a crime ring. It's very vast, and they want to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, why you're driving, down the road in front of some. It's our secret service.
Yeah.
They had a sound room, a musician room, where the adults could go in there and talk about their murders and their planning their crimes, where nobody could hear except for the people in that sound room. They would check for bugs, and even when the Hell's Angels were protecting me, um, in the clubhouse, right above the phone, it said, "Whatever you say on this phone, someone's listening to you."
Right.
Um,
Right.
it,
So who had this sound room?
Daryl Edwards, Opal May's
Ah,
husband.
okay.
She ended up, I do believe she was killed. They got the power to kill somebody and replace the body, bury the.
Yep.
They
Yep.
have all the tools at their disposal.
Right.
But Opal May came to me and said, "Some funny business going on here. I'm going to leave you so much money you'll never have to work again." And then I never saw her again, because I do believe they killed her, forged the paperwork, stole that money. That's how they work. That's how these evil people work, and it
Now,
goes all the way up to the presidents.
did you tell anyone? You were probably like younger. a late
Right.
teenager, early 20s. Did you tell anyone, hey, she's going to leave me money?
Oh yeah. You know
Well,
how kids are.
yeah, yes, I do. So
You know,
that,
I was telling all my friends, you know, my aunt Opal, she just said she's gonna leave me millions and millions. I'm gonna be rich someday. Yay!
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot of things I wish I could take back and keep my mouth shut.
yeah,
I really do. It's just like they said too. If you tell anybody your story, we will kill them. When they killed my mother and you know, and all this was going down, I wanted revenge. I had death in my heart. I wanted to grab a weapon. I was just a kid, but I wanted to kill somebody for revenge. I really, really did. And they said, "There's nothing you could do. You're too young. They will kill you." And then the catch is, if you tell anybody, we'll kill you. It's kind of like, you know, I heard that a lot when I was in special ops, black ops training in Vietnam. As just a little kid, they told me, "Look, you pack our gear, you do exactly what we tell you to do, and you don't speak. You only speak when spoken to, or we'll kill you." And that's the good guys telling me that. But you know, so the whole time I'm like, okay, I'm just keeping my mouth shut because I don't want to die.
yeah. That had to be so unusual. Like when you told me they took you to Vietnam for protection, I'm like, whoa, that's the opposite. Well, I guess it was a good strategy, right? But it's the opposite of what most people would do.
Yeah. Well, plus they wanted to build me up. There's pictures of me with toy guns and military gear on and all this. They wanted me to be a boss. They wanted to teach me about the military, how it works,
Yep.
what they do, the ins and outs of everything. So someday I would know. It was all a lesson. But I had people trying to kill me for real too. So I had the guys trying to build me up. This is for your family. This is for your loved ones. They're killing your loved ones. We're gonna build you up. Maybe you can do something someday. Um, yeah, it's so confusing. My life was very confusing. It
Yeah,
really
I
was.
can imagine. Like just think of it this way, an innocent child, and you've got an unusual life to start with as a son of a president. There's wealth there, you're traveling around the world, you're meeting famous people. Of course, you're just a young kid, so there's people telling you what to do all the time, okay? Not just your parents, but you've got everyone, nannies, whatever they are, watching you, taking care of you, kind of telling you what to do. So your whole life was like that, you know?
Yeah, it
And
really
you,
was. It really was crazy.
yeah,
Even in Hollywood, you know, my Hollywood career as Richard Steele. Um, I was on a lot of the sets of the Cowboy. And if you look at all the actors to today, um, all of them were in the cowboy movies, the cowboy shows, the westerns. But it was really hardcore when I was there.
yeah.
Um, there was one guy that came in, and the bosses were arguing with him. I think they killed him in the back room. I do. There was one scene. This guy came in with a broken arm. You know, when you see these old cowboy movies, and they're jumping off the horses and jumping on these other guys and hitting the ground, that's all real. It really is. These cowboys were trying to be the next Clint Eastwood. They were trying to be the next Charles Bronson, and they were willing to hurt themselves for that. But you had the sellouts, people trying to, you know, it's like a little war in there. One time I was in this window, and there was some guys out like in the field, and there was some people in there, and they handed me a rifle, and they said, "Shoot that one guy right there." I don't know, probably, you know, in the blue shirt with the hat on. Shoot him in the leg. I was like, okay. So I put the rifle out the window and I shot him in the leg. I did what I was told, and
Oh, where was this?
it was on a movie set, one of the old cowboy movie sets, just like I was on the set with John Wayne, and I've shared this many times, but you know, I was pushed on the ground from this guy. John Wayne saw it. He got his crew over there, and John Wayne's crew just started kicking the shit out of this guy, and maybe they killed him. I don't know, but they beat him to a pulp because he pushed me on the ground.
Wow.
for no reason. He was being mean to me most of the day. I never got paid or anything for all this work I did, but they had me stacking firewood, and I had an armful of firewood, and I was taking it over. This guy pushed me on the ground because I wasn't walking fast enough or something. But yeah, John Wayne actually saw that. I looked over when I was on the ground. I seen John Wayne saw that. Next thing I know, he was getting, the guy that did that was getting his ass kicked.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, like I said, there was one time um, they were questioning some guy for getting a ring. I think it was a famous actor. I met many famous actors, and they were like, "So and so gave me that ring," because rings are very, very important when it comes to the cabal or whatever. It's a status symbol. You see a lot of these people in the movies from way back when they all had pinky rings, and they all meant something. But I remember them talking to this guy. How'd you get this ring? This was so and so's ring. Now you're wearing his ring, and but yeah, they don't play around.
It
These
didn't
people
go
don't.
well for the guy, is what I'm guessing. That
Yeah,
had the
no,
ring.
yeah.
All right. So he either stole it or maybe hurt the man and took his ring or whatever. And then whoever questioned him, knew that.
And
Mm-mm.
this guy was a famous actor.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And see, we don't know what happens there. Thanks for telling us. We don't know. We just see the finished product.
They had me on the set a lot of times. I'm in a few different movies, but where they would molest me and beat me and do crazy shit. I don't know why they would do half the shit. I think they were just freaking crazy lunatics myself. But these were some of these people in the movie scene, these cowboy movies.
So you did a lot of cowboy movies and you knew all those guys. I know you've known so many celebrities, entertainers, politicians. Like you've known people that, you've known everyone. So it's interesting to hear the behind the scenes, what they were like, what they've done, you know.
Yeah, and why I was shown all of them, why I met all of them. Like I said, you know, I think it was to build me up to be the boss, to know who these people were. Most of it was under MK Ultra.
Yeah.
You remember sooner or later they didn't want me remembering when I woke up the next day that I was just at Clint Eastwood's house, or Sylvester Stallone was sitting there having sex with this underage girl or whatever, and I was like, "Are you okay with this?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay with this." And I'm like, "Okay, then that's fine." But
Wow.
yeah, I witnessed a lot of things. I don't know why they took me around to all this to show me all this, but I think it was to build me up. Maybe make me president of the United States someday. They have the power. Wayne even said one day, he said, "I could bring you out the next day. I could put you all over the media the next day if I wanted to, you know." But I don't know what happened to all that. Now, was Wayne killed? I really, really don't know. Did something shift? There was always attempts on Wayne's life also. Um, I understand they tried to blow up Wayne's car one time.
Oh,
He had a little pickup truck, and but I've seen Wayne take lives before also. So it was like you try to blow up Wayne's car, you're gonna die. Um, but I was witness to all this, how they run, how they work in power.
right.
So it all goes back to the presidents of the United States. It's all they have the tools that we don't even comprehend to do their crazy deeds and get away with them.
You've told us before every president has been under MK Ultra pretty much. Like, and we're going to say
Well,
contemporary.
I should say I was under MK Ultra, but were they under MK Ultra? Did I think they were under MK Ultra just because I was under MK Ultra? But the things I've seen them do while I was under MK Ultra, um, you would have to think they were. I mean, you know, me snorting cocaine in a limousine with Bill Clinton. Yeah, I snorted cocaine with Bill Clinton in a limousine. But the thing is, people brought him there. That's why I think he was under MK Ultra, because he was being handled himself. Now, they took him to a place where he could have sex with a black woman, and we were snorting cocaine. He was being told what to do and how to do it. So I have many stories like that, many. But I was shown all this. I was taken around to places like this, and shown Bill Cosby, same thing. He was being handled. He was these young girls and stuff were being put in front of him while he was under MK Ultra. He was given drugs by these people, just the way I was given drugs under MK Ultra. Bill Cosby was making millions and millions of dollars. That's why he was being handled. That's why what happened to Bill Cosby happened to Bill Cosby. You get these people that do that, and I would have to say Epstein and all these other people are being handled also. Is
Okay.
it is it different? You know, when I was going to go somewhere, but I'm not going to go there because it just confused more people.
Okay.
But it's kind of like when somebody's under MK Ultra, you can't really blame them for what their actions are.
Right. Right.
Is the story I was going to tell. So if they strap somebody in a chair, let's say they get this young kid in a chair, and they start torturing him and doing mind screwy things, and they tell him that he's going to grab a gun and shoot his stepfather or something like that. When he grabs that gun and kills his stepfather, who do you really blame? Do you blame the people that sat him in a chair and tortured him and programmed his mind to go kill his stepfather?
Yeah.
You know, it's a powerful tool. It really is. And Mary Maxwell explains that what MK Ultra is all about in this book, and it's on Amazon. It's only $16.50. People.
Little sales pitch. So MK Ultra is super ugly. And once you're under it, you don't remember what you've done. You just blindly follow those orders. You don't even know who you're talking to, or if you've done what they've said or whatever. And then you come, like, it's like being in a dream almost. You come to, right?
Exactly. You're in your dreamland. When you fall asleep and you're dreaming,
Yeah.
some people don't remember their dreams for very long.
Yeah.
If I have a really vivid dream and I wake up, usually my dreams are nightmares. You remember them for a little while and then they just fade away.
Yeah.
MK Ultra, you're in a dream state. So if you got a gun and you're shooting people in your dream, and then when you wake up, you're like, I don't have a gun. That was just a dream.
Oh, yeah. Well, in some dreams, you like go into an alternate reality. They're like this is like a deeper topic. There's different realities, timelines, dimensions, whatever you want to call it. So sometimes you'll be in a dream that's extremely real, and you wake up and you can still feel the pain or the emotion or whatever that you had from the dream. And that's a real, it's happened in real life, just not in this
Well,
reality.
our CIA and all their experiments, they have so much money to do their experiments, from
Yep.
LSD to electronics to sticking these things to your forehead, from, tort. They experimented and experimented until they got the perfect weapon over the
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and they're using it on us now. When I was there, somebody said something in the 70s, but when I was in it, it was called Project Artichoke. And people back then, if they exposed Project Artichoke, they were killed. Now MK Ultra's coming out. There's lawsuits coming out against the government agencies and our CIA and the people responsible. But it was all hush hush when it was going on. But now
Right.
people are waking up to so
Right.
much of the truth,
Yeah.
and it's such a powerful weapon. It is.
So many whistleblowers have been killed. So basically, they were using them as stepping stones to get the story out. So people are a little bit aware of MK Ultra and what's going on. And then we're seeing it more and more and more out there. And people are coming forward like we talked. And I think your job is like this, you're the snowplow. You're clearing the way for the next group of whistleblowers to come forward. And they're going to be taken seriously because these are very serious problems. And
MK
serious,
Ultra can be a good weapon, a good tool if used the right way. But the problem is it's being abused. It's being used the wrong way. And like I said, MK Ultra for a good way, you can use MK Ultra to find out, extract information from enemies, from terrorists or whatever. You can put spies in a country, and they don't even know they're actually spies. It could be used to save lives too. You could put somebody under MK Ultra, and as a handler, you can walk them around and say, "You're going to do this. You're going here. You're going to this restaurant at noon tomorrow, and you're going to be here at this place at 1 o'clock the next day." Then they come and put you back to sleep. Well, they're waiting for the bad guys while you're at this place at 1 o'clock. They already know where you're going to be because they programmed you to be there.
right?
So it's also a protection device if used the right way. Um, but used the wrong way, you can get somebody to kill somebody at a certain time. You can get somebody and shut somebody up so they don't tell the evil deeds that you did.
Yeah.
So you're sitting at home watching TV, watching cartoons or whatever, while somebody's committing murder for you. It's a it's a
But
very, very powerful tool.
so you have an alibi if you wanted someone dead and you knew that they could be influenced through MK Ultra, you have an alibi, and then you've got a scapegoat or a patsy, whatever you want to call it, who has
Yeah,
information.
there's so many tools they have.
Yeah,
I was just thinking of twins and triplets and what they can do. It's all about identity theft and getting people and replacing people that look like
yeah,
other people.
yeah,
So you can get twins and you can put your twin in one place and you can be at the other place. And, it's like you could have an alibi. There's all kinds of things you can do
yeah,
with twins if
yeah.
you're in the satanic cult and want to mess with people.
Okay, all right. Wow. Yeah, so in my mind, MK Ultra is a bad thing because in my mind, you should never have to control anyone. You should collaborate, not control. But that's me. I live in a different world. I haven't seen that. But how prevalent would you say MK Ultra is like right now? Like it's is it quite prevalent out there? Just like we've talked about.
I'm sure it is just by the circus that we see in the media.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'm sure there's, people say, oh, we're getting rid of, the white hats and all this other crap. But what I see, it's
Yeah.
still really bad.
Yeah.
It's still really bad.
Well,
You see the president that they put in place, and they're, oh, he's doing good. He's a spy. He's really with Epstein because he was going to turn Epstein in for all his evil deeds. While he's whispering in his ear, telling him what children to take and where to take them. And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We recently saw video of Trump and a whole bunch of men in a room, standing around the edge of the room, and a lot of little girls in the middle of the room, kind of
um,
dancing, and the men were kind of like looking them over, most likely choosing the one that they wanted. And
right.
guess who
And,
was
and that was back in his pageant days when he was all running. He's even admitted, yeah, I would sneak into the locker room and watch these women.
yeah,
It's really sick. And, when you get somebody like that and then you vote for him because you think that, oh, he's a billionaire,
yeah,
so he's got to be okay. But these billionaires aren't okay. They're not.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's so many billionaires or millionaires out there, and obviously, they've earned their money. It is their money. Ha ha, ha ha. Right? That's a whole different conversation. But you'd like to think they would share or donate to help others in need. Like there's so much need in the world, right? We see the
Oh well,
homelessness go up,
they
right?
do. You know, when they kill somebody and replace somebody and have all this
Yeah,
money at their disposal,
yeah,
they donate some for parks and other things that
right.
they give away so much of their stolen money, but they're making so much money
Yeah,
off their murder.
yeah, yeah. Well, and they do like you said, photo ops. So they go and say, "Oh, we're giving so much to, let's say, a school or a park," and they act like they're doing this big thing, but they still have billions in the bank, and they're still starving people right here, let alone across the world, right?
Can't believe a word they say.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't believe Donald Trump as far as I could spit. He's placed in this media that's owned and bought and paid for so he can speak. But the numbers he's putting out about how good things are going, they're so wrong. He was with the guy the other day, and they were talking. Oh yeah, we got billions of dollars. We're doing so good, and the guy's shaking his head, going, "I don't know where you got your information."
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, okay, so we raise your hand if you're better off now than you were 6 years ago or 7 years ago or whatever. I can't even do the math right now. I don't think anyone out there has their hand raised. Prices have gone up. I think we feel squeezed. Even if you're not in the US, you feel squeezed for it's financial, but it's also the rules, the regulations. It's like the pressure is like greater than it's ever been. Yeah. So things have got to change.
Well,
The
yeah,
story has got to.
Donald Trump was president once, and
Yeah.
things still got worse. You know, now he's president, and everybody thinks they're going to still get better, but they're just going to get worse.
Yeah.
And you can quote me on this or whatever you want to do. I've been sharing my story before he was even president the first time
Right.
about what a crime ring they are,
Yeah.
and nothing's going to change until we change it. Nothing's going to change.
Right. Right.
Thank you all on Facebook so much. Please share. Please share this on Facebook and follow. And let's blow the lid off of the
Yeah.
story here.
It always feels so negative when we talk about this stuff because it's heavy. This is a heavy topic, right?
Oh,
This
it's
is not light
heartbreaking.
and fluffy. John didn't have a regular childhood. It was a childhood with torture, murder, organized crime, kidnapping, extortion. Like you put the bad word in there. That's John's life. So when we talk, sometimes it just makes you feel I feel so sad, not only for what you went through, but everyone else. It's not right. We don't want a world like that. We need this to get out there to people. They need to understand that this is real. It's happening right now and it needs to stop. How can we stop something we don't even know about?
Right. We just got to share and keep
Yep.
sharing.
Yep.
I am so emotional each and every day.
Yeah.
I wake up and it's like I get so much hate,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't understand. And then people say, well, you shouldn't be talking about this. I was taught as a soldier, I was taught by people in power, run to the trouble, don't run away from it. So
Oh,
when people say, don't badmouth Donald Trump, you're just going to lose your supporters. I don't care. I'm running. I'm telling the truth of what I know.
yeah.
I'm putting it out there. I'm not going to go away. And even if I am killed, even if I die of a heart attack or whatever, I'm not going away. My story's out there. I got books. I got The Quiet Journey. My story's out there, but it's up to all of us to get
Yeah.
my story out
Yeah.
and wake up people to,
Yeah.
hey, we're 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 all in this together, but we're not in their club, and we don't want to be in their club.
Yeah.
We want to stay far away from their club.
Yeah. And we think, well, oh, doesn't affect me. I'm okay. And we go about our life. That's not how this is going to work because you see how it's going to spread. If we can't stop this now that we're aware, like we weren't aware before, so obviously we couldn't stop it. If we don't get this information out now and stop it, when are we going to be able to stop it? We have to do it as early as we can be aware of it, right? It's like if you have something in your home, let's say mold or a pest or whatever, You don't wait till it multiplies and gets like crazy. You handle it directly, right? As soon as you're aware of it, you handle it. Well, we might not know about it initially, but we're learning now. So now that we're learning, we need to spread the story to others and help stop what's happening.
Yeah,
And
when I
yeah,
was
they
young,
don't want the story out because why? They're incriminated. They were complicit. They either helped or they looked the other way. No one wants the story out except, the people.
most of the countries in this world are all controlled by leaders,
Yeah.
regimes, governments, communists. And the United States is supposed to be a free country. Well, nothing's free anymore. It's really not.
Yeah.
But when I was young, the Russians had a plan. And now they all have this plan of one world order. And we're not included in their one world order. They want to make this free country, the United States of America, where it's not free anymore, where they can enslave us, just like these other countries. You know, I don't want to live in a country where I'm told, oh, I can only have a loaf of bread and a bag of rice every week. I don't want this country to turn that way, but they want the one world order.
Yeah.
All these people in power, they think they're in the clique and they got
Yeah.
all the riches, they got all the millions, and they're going to stay in the clique while all us poor people are going to fall to slavery and be slaves. That's their plan. And that's what my father was trying to expose, and they killed him for it. He was trying to say, hey, these people in power are for themselves. They're the evil, they're the secret organizations. And now it's just getting worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse. And I'm yelling from the top of my lungs in videos each and every day. Look, this is their plan. We got to stop and hinder their plan before your children have no future at all. And what else is coming with that? I can imagine all the bad things. You know, every time Donald Trump talks, it's hate this person's an idiot. That person's an idiot. This person ain't doing a job. He's the only one that's doing a good job. But then you hear him say, I wish people thought of me like Kim Jong Un.
Oh, yeah. I heard
Yeah.
that one a lot.
Um, that was so right in your face, people. Donald Trump wants to be like the North Korean leader that executes people in the streets for talking bad about him.
Yeah.
Just for if you talk about the government, they kill you in the freaking street. You're not allowed to have this money or that money or this and that. You have to do what the government tells you to do. And Donald Trump wants to be just like the man. He was the first president to step on their soil with Kim Jong Un, and I was like, how dare him do that? Kim Jong Un is days before saying, death to America. We want to nuke America. Someday we're going to annihilate and obliterate America. And the next day, Donald Trump standing there saying, I want to be you.
Yeah. Yeah. We should name this video just like talking about Trump, like bashing Trump,
That's
because
right. The
like we're
truth about
seeing
Trump in your
such a
face.
polarity in his actions and his words, and there's no rhyme or reason. So we know there's multiple Trumps out there. One saying X, one saying Y, one saying Z. Blah, 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 blah. It's a little fun to watch. It's getting pretty old though.
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah,
It's
getting
getting.
old. Yeah. So
But for every follower we lose, we gain 300 or 400 more
right.
that are waking up to the truth. So it's
Yep.
all good.
Yep. And so, for those that are watching, as usual, we always appreciate your help sharing the books, share the video, the documentary, like share the name of it. We've got Shannon going down to Dallas every Saturday, talking
What
to
a
hundreds of people, thousands of people,
what a
fabulous
beautiful
people.
soul.
Yeah, yeah. And I told her if I was closer, I would definitely go. I'm not. close enough to go easily. So
Yeah, I think I'm a little over 800 miles away, but if
yeah.
I ever get blessed, I might just show up just to give that woman a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, yeah. But like, there's so many good people helping you and getting your story out there. So we appreciate that. And we're not stopping. The story's getting out there. It is
There's
like, it's
there's so
like
many wonderful people
we're
making
crawling up the mountain, right? Like, we're getting there, right? Like, we're
yeah.
almost to the tippy top. And then whoosh, people are going to know this story.
Yeah, there's so many people out there that
Yeah.
making videos, sharing the story, and they're going and going, and then all of a sudden they get taken off. Um, Brenda Scott Price, bless her heart, I think she's on 43 accounts on TikTok now. 43, bless her heart, she
Yeah.
ain't giving up.
Yep. Yeah. So ask yourself, why would they want to hinder the story? Okay. But yet they'll allow 30 accounts that are fake out there asking people for money. Why do they
Yeah,
allow that, but not the truthful story? Hmm?
well, I had 45,000. I was getting 1,000 followers a day on TikTok,
Yeah.
and people started making fake accounts. I think there was, I don't know, I'd probably say six or seven. If I said 10, maybe it's exaggeration. But they took me down and they left the fake accounts up for these people to ask for money.
Yeah.
Craziness. And I was just on here and I seen Deanna. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She don't take no shit from nobody. Somebody will leave a Donald Trump supporter will leave a hate comment on my thing, and she'll get right at them. I,
Well,
I I love you guys that fight back, you lions. That's what being a lion is all about. Don't take no
yep.
shit from nobody. Even
Yep.
Shannon Sheridan said, "I'm learning from you, John." I
Yep.
go to Dallas and I don't put up with these freaking haters. I just tell them how it is,
Yeah.
and that's what we have to do to break the bubble of all the disbelief and things that people put on us.
Yeah.
It's like,
You
hey, I
know,
know who I am. I know Trump's an ass. I know Robert's an ass. I'm not going to stop sharing just to make you happy. Go away if you're not happy,
yeah. Yeah.
because there's so many more people out there. There's millions and millions and millions of people that would probably love to hear my story if they had
Yeah.
the opportunity.
Yeah. And again, for someone that doesn't know, okay, they're going to be shocked. They're going to be like, he doesn't look like the People magazine. He doesn't look like this. And, if they just listen to what you got to say, read the book or watch the video, they will be shocked. They're going to want to know more. And then their mind is going to be blown, just like ours is. Right.
Somebody
So,
asked me on Facebook if I know Juan Salvin, and I believe Juan Salvin is just a puppet from one of Trump's episodes to help hinder my story of the truth I'm getting out. Just more
yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Just more bullshit, people.
Well, one other thing I wanted to mention earlier is there are fake John F. Kennedy Juniors out there, obviously. Okay, so we've got one that has a Telegram channel, and they put all this intel out there. All right, and they're talking about him for vice president. Okay, all right, great. Why haven't we seen him yet? Why haven't we seen his face? Why don't we know who he is? Why don't we know what's happened to him? Because they're making it up.
It's all up, and
They're
I told
making
you
it
so
up.
right there.
Yep.
I told you so, Q movement.
Told you so.
I
Oh yeah,
told you so right there. It's
I got
all
mine.
bullshit. It's all bullshit, people.
Yep. Yep.
I had a guy named John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. Showed a picture of my stepbrother George. He was my stepbrother. I knew him on and off. His name was George Onassis. He stole my identity, but this guy had a picture of him as his profile picture and said I was just a lying piece of shit. It's like the only liar here is you. You sound like Donald fucking Trump.
Well,
I
really.
know
All
I
right.
know who I am. I lived it. I lived a life of freaking hell. I'm sharing what I lived. And you get these fake people using somebody else that's dead, a picture of them. What is what is all this movement behind people pretending to be somebody that's dead? For what? What? He was murdered.
Yeah. There's a special coming out on the fake Junior. It might even be today. I had shared a graphic around maybe 2 weeks ago. I was shocked. Like, so what I'm trying to say is like, what? Oh, hey, hey, kitty. Is like 30 years later, 20, all right, 25 years later, we're still talking about him. They're anchoring in the fake story. Like you go to any magazine store or bookstore, like in the airport, especially, you're going to see magazines with your mom and your dad on it on the cover. That story. Your cat is wrecking everything.
Yeah, it's trying to tear up my backdrop and sneak into the closet back
Yep,
there.
yep. Yeah, but you
Gotta
can
love my animals.
they're just anchoring in those fake stories to the public that doesn't know any better. And they're, of course, everyone's fascinated with the story of the Kennedys, right? So they don't know the story yet.
It's
They're the
I
ones
believe
who
a
click
lot of
it.
it is to hinder my story from getting out.
Yep,
They're keeping me suppressed so bad.
yeah.
They don't want me on mainstream media. They don't want my story out.
Mhm.
So like when I started sharing, the Q movement came out and all this fake narratives came out. Then you got a movie that just came out about Maria Callas, that probably didn't have much truth in it. Being she had you know, these billionaires don't tell you what they're doing. They switch
Yeah,
children around. They have children. Kidnapping is so huge within our government. With
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, so they switch them around all the time and
yeah,
this and that. But they don't advertise.
yeah,
Everybody thinks that, you know, not everybody, but a lot of people think they can just Google something and it's got to be the truth.
yeah. Yeah, you go to Wikipedia. Okay, go to Wikipedia and read like a biography of somebody. And again, I usually can sense the red flags, but it's like ridiculous stuff, you know and I've done videos on points in history that are incorrect, so I might read a little blurb about that time frame. Usually I try to go in cold and just learn what the inconsistencies are, but I can read like red flag, that sounds suspicious, that doesn't sound right, I'm sure that's a lie. And you can do that with your what do you call it, imposter's life as well.
Yeah.
How great of a person he was
I
he?
share I share so many true stories that I personally an eyewitness to,
Yeah,
and people try to argue with.
yeah,
I was there. I lived it.
yeah,
Just like my stepbrother, Alexander Onassis, when he was killed right in front of me on that plane.
yeah,
He was shot in the head. I was right there. I seen it. We crashed the plane. They took his dead body to the hospital. They pretended to keep him alive. And I'm sharing this story. I think that video I made sharing that story had like 2.5 million views before they took it down.
yeah.
So it was getting out. But I had people arguing with me. No, he died in the hospital because he had a head injury from the crash. It's like, okay, I was there. I was 13 years old. I held his head in my hand when he was dead. But yet you're going to believe Google.
It's, people are heavily programmed, and now some of them cannot understand. I mean, that's fair not to know this story. It's fair. So, but they're when they're hostile and they argue with you, okay, next. Like if
There's so much fake,
Yeah,
you
next.
fake stuff out there.
Yeah.
I'll make a post and somebody will comment, "Your mom had a cock," and I'm like, "Excuse me." First of all, I wouldn't be here if my mom had a penis. And secondly, they were nudists. Her and Aristotle Onassis would run around naked all day. I saw my mom's bush. You know, there was no penis there. So, when I'm 13, 14, 15 years old, I saw my mom's bush. There was no penis there. So why are you posting this shit on my page that my mom had a penis? Oh, but all the past presidents, they make this shit up. Maybe there was somebody like Obama's wife that had a penis later on in life or something. But they that's crazy. It's
But
crazy to kind
well,
of
there's a lot of first ladies that were men, and there's like entertainers, singers, politicians. I mean, I could name you 20 celebrities right now, cold, that are really men. Okay.
oh they
Well,
push it.
they're inverted. Okay, doesn't matter.
Hollywood,
Yeah,
Hollywood, and this
yeah,
molesting of children. They
Yeah.
push the gay narrative. And I
Yeah.
know this, you know, they try to get the little girls to be lesbians. They try to get them to hate dick.
Yeah.
They try to get the little boys to like dick. You know, they even
Yeah.
told me, I was molested so much when I was just a little kid, these satanic people would just put their dick right in my face and I'd be ordered to, but they pushed the narrative. They're like, we want you to be gay. For what reason? But it all goes back to the satanic and the power and the of it all.
Yeah.
But now everything's gay in Hollywood.
Yep.
It's a norm to be gay.
Yep. It's in the kids shows, it's in the commercials, it's in everything.
And they're trying
And
to get it
again,
in our schools
they're trying to
and
normalize
everything.
it.
A
And
friend of mine has a kid, and he got scolded. I don't know how old he is. He's not very old, but he was in the classroom and said, two daddies can't have a baby. And he got in trouble for that because in his school, they're pushing daddy and daddy can have a baby. When I was young, I knew a lesbian couple and they had a little boy. And I would tease the little boy, you don't play with dolls. I would tease him, you don't play with Barbies, dude. You're a boy. And he couldn't see me after that. He wasn't, they didn't allow him to play with me because they were teaching him the agenda. You're going to grow up to be a little girl. And they adopted him into this family. And the adoption agency allowed two lesbians to take this child and let him play with dolls and teach him someday you're going to wear a dress and you're going to tape your pee-pee up to your ass and pretend you're a girl. It's really crazy,
yeah, it
It's
is,
all
but it's,
programmed. If there's somebody that's born gay and thinks they're like a girl, that's cool. But when they're programmed to be that way, that's another story.
yeah, usually it's trauma. Okay, so that they're molested as children and they think that's normal again. So they don't know any better. And it's a horrific thing. It's not, they're trying to normalize that. If they're trying to normalize it, it isn't normal. Okay? Normal stuff you don't have to try, right? It just is.
How'd we get talking about all this crazy stuff today, Sue?
I don't know, we're on a rant, but that yeah. So, but anyways, we've done good. We're getting the story out there. Everybody that's watching has done amazing to help. It's growing, growing, growing.
That's
Looking
right.
forward to have it go boom and explode out there. We'll be there soon.
I want to thank everybody for their comments. I can hardly read them on my phone here on Facebook, but thank you so much for all you do.
Yep.
All you guys are awesome. All your comments that you leave to the haters, I appreciate them all.
Yep.
You guys are great. You guys are great.
Yep. Yep. Well, thank you all for watching, and thank you, John, for your time. And we'll talk again. And like sometimes we do go on a little bit of a rant, we get sideways, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But if people have specific questions, send them over to me. Put them in the comments of the video that once it's on the channel, and I will ask them the next time that we talk, as time allows.
And Sue, if you can mention the website real quick, I would sure appreciate
Okay.
it because, yeah, people buy the book. It helps out so much, and
Yeah. Yeah.
if they buy a
Yeah.
pendant, it helps even more.
The website will be in the description of the video. It is The Real John F. Kennedy Jr.com. Okay. And it's got some great content there. And then John has some products that you can purchase. There's book links there. He's got a healing pendant that he sells, t-shirt and hoodies as well. So you can purchase those collector's items and then support John while you're doing it. Yeah.
And here lately, when you purchase something, we've been giving out bumper stickers so
Yep.
you can stick them around town or wherever. And
Good.
we've got some wonderful buttons that have been donated that I've been putting in with them. Wonderful, wonderful
Yeah.
collector's items.
Yeah.
And if you purchase the book, please leave a review on Amazon. They're both on Amazon. We're getting free advertising by your reviews. See the reviews if you haven't check out the reviews on what people that have read the books are saying. It speaks for itself. It really does.
Yep. Well, thank you, John, and thank you everyone that are watching, and thanks for all your help getting this story out there.
Yeah, so much appreciated. We're going world this year. That's what we made up our mind. 25. We're getting it out. They're going to fall. The balls fall in 25, and the truth is coming out, and we're the lions that are doing it.
That's right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sue.
John. Talk to you soon.